this is not good enough. And you know, when we talk government corruption, I'll try and overview that. Government corruption can be seen as a lot of things. And you all have in your hearts and minds what it might mean to you. Government corruption to me is when there's, for instance sake, and I'm not going to go into all these things and topics, but for instance sake, when they have a major inquiry into crimes against children that gets buried for 80 years. Why? See, I see that as a problem, okay? I see a problem that we have a system of democracy where the two major parties can write the rules, and they write the rules to favour themselves. That's corruption. I've been in this game a long time, so I've been to the highest courts about democracy. I've seen the Labor Party, for instance, South Australia dress up as another party and hand out dodgy information to try and win a seat so they can take Parliament. That's corruption. Okay. The fact that you must, in a democracy, in this democracy, that you must preference every player even if you don't like them, there's a serious problem there. And seeing Labor win on 34% of the vote, then run around and call us names, I find that insulting, and it's not acceptable. You know, I'm trying to be calm here. I could be brutal about what's going on. I think you all know what's going on. We need to be just sensible and have a conversation. And that conversation has to be about mass migration. It has to be that as part of it. Because you can't have hospitals, I said this before, you can't have hospitals run in critical condition. You can't risk some sort of disaster here and there's nowhere for you to go. A natural disaster. If you have a car accident on the way home, you want to go to a hospital. If the hospitals are critical now, right, just to give you an idea, there's 60,000 hospital beds in this state. So they say, I don't believe them. We're running at about 2.3%, which is actually, I think it's below Indonesia and some, you know, all those sorts of countries. Unacceptable. So we need hospitals. We don't need one, we need two, we need 5 hospitals being built now, just to get us back in line. And if they want to bring more people into the country, then those hospitals have to be here, there has to be empty beds in those hospitals, there has to be empty houses, there has to be room in our schools, there has to be no traffic congestion, and we have to have this country under control, providing for us all first. Then we can have an adult conversation. So I'll grab one of the speakers up. Angela, you wanted to go first, where are you? Angela's going to talk about something important, and I'll lead into it if you don't mind. When I first got in politics, I was sitting around at a family do, and my family are lefties, and, excuse me, sorry, and I was talking about the Environmental Protection Act, how it enabled the government to go onto farms and just bulldoze dams and these sorts of things. And I thought, that's incredible, how can that happen? And the people in the room, very tied up to Labor, said, that's not happening. And I said, what, so you don't even know the legislation you're passing in the House? They don't even know, mate. It's just sad. The hardest work for them is to cover up what they're doing so you don't know. That's corruption. Here you go.
Hello everyone, it's good to see everyone here on a beautiful day. Over the past few years, as you know, I have spoken at many events, rallied beside you and pushed back against the sexualisation of children in schools. I know many of you are deeply concerned about this, as well as the government overreach since COVID lockdowns. This has been highlighted through the pandemic, resulting in job losses, financial hardships, vax injuries, division amongst family, friends and community. Recently, I sat in the gallery during a Parliament sitting. Many may not know this, but they start the sitting sessions in prayer. They invite God to speak and act through them in accordance to His will to bring glory to His kingdom. If they truly believed in God and knew Him, they would know that it is not God's will to kill healthy babies through late-term abortion, cause bodily harm by unsafe vaccines, or mutilate children through gender medical procedures. God does not ordain government to manipulate, coerce, lie, cause division and chaos in communities, nor give excessive power and control to these bodies that violate on the free will of the people. Australian government passed laws that would give the state extraordinary emergency powers able to be used during non-emergency times as dictated by the state coordinator. This gives the government new powers such as being able to remove, destroy any buildings, structures, vehicles or animals and subject people to a decontamination procedure, isolation, segregation, medical observations or diagnostic procedures. The legislation also says forcing disclosure of information overrides privacy protections and secrecy provisions in other legislation. Today, I have with me, at the tent over here, a petition that seeks to repeal the amendments made under the Emergency Management Amendment Bill. Who here has had enough of the lies, manipulation and coercion?
Yep.
Repeal the bill!
Repeal it.
Repeal the bill! Thank you.
Good on.
Oh, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. Mark, can you come up? Where are you? I saw you somewhere. Because the national rally included the WHO, I thought I'd get a guy who knows a little bit about it. Just a quick 2-minute speech so you understand. It's about bringing in a treaty which would give power to the WHO and the UN to dictate policy in this country and this state instead of having our health professionals do it. Here you go.
Thanks, Mark. So I'm actually not speaking directly for myself. I do know a little bit about the topic. I'm speaking on behalf of the Aligned Council of Australia. But I just want to say to all you amazing South Australians, what an honour it is for me to walk alongside you today. Everyday Australians, mums, dads, grandparents, small business owners that have been hammered to the wall by decisions made by this government. Everyday Australians you are, and we're all walking together, shoulder to shoulder, against the government that is unaccountable and not transparent, and we need to push back on that. So as I said, I'm going to read from a bit of statement from the Aligned Council of Australia, and I'm proud to do it on their behalf. The role of the Aligned Council of Australia is simple: to shine a bright light on global decisions that quietly shape our freedoms at home, often without consent. ACA has been calling out the World Health Organization, the WHO, this body that declared COVID-19 a pandemic and made recommendations that our politicians followed without blinking. And instead of asking questions, our leaders nodded along like bobbleheads. But here's the kicker. The WHO's COVID response wasn't science, it was spin. Their recommendations often looked more political than medical, and behind them, powerful private funders, including vaccine manufacturers, who had plenty to gain. And let me add, our TGA heavily funded to 96% by pharma. Instead of review, they want more control. And that's where these new pandemic treaties come in. They're telling us the next pandemic is just around the corner. Fear porn every day. As if fear is enough reason to hand over your sovereignty. In ordinary times, these treaties demand surveillance of Australians, testing, tracing, tracking, mandatory sharing of samples with WHO labs, digital ID systems linked to vaccine passes, and government-enforced censorship of anyone who dares to question the narrative. Sound familiar?
Yep.
It's the same script we just lived through, but written in permanent ink. And I'm glad Angela went before me, and it was really well articulated, Angela, because I'm going to talk into that as well. And it's a message also for our South Australian police. You were on the front line during COVID lockdowns. You saw firsthand the consequences and fallout of those public health responses. And I suspect they affected you deeply as well, like so many of us. Under the new pandemic treaties, you could be required to physically restrain people so they can be forcibly vaccinated. Guys, this is not hypothetical. Just the other week, as Angela mentioned, here in South Australia, the Labor government, with the support of the Liberals and Greens, have passed the Emergency Management Miscellaneous Amendment Act 2024, giving themselves extraordinary powers, exactly the powers the WHO is aiming for. If we don't stand up now, we risk losing our most basic rights. Freedom of speech, freedom of choice, our personal autonomy, and even our national autonomy. My friends, these treaties and Emergency Management Act are not about health. They are about power, they are about control. We must demand that our leaders protect our rights, our voices, and our future. We must have decision-making by Australians, for Australians. Thank you, Adelaide. Let's keep fighting. Love you. God bless.